Imagine a place on Earth that has seen no rain for 2 million years. It's not a myth, really. It's not a story from a science fiction movie. This place is real, a silent corner of our planet so alien and so extreme that it feels like it shouldn't exist. It's a land carved by forces we rarely see, a desert colder than your freezer and drier than any hot desert you can name. Most people have never heard of it. They picture Earth as a world of blue oceans and green forests. But here, in this forgotten valley, the rules of our world are broken. This land is a puzzle. It sits on a continent famous for being covered in ice. There is only the sound of the wind itself, a constant, dry whisper that has been blowing for millions of years. It's a sound that has carried away all the water, leaving behind a sterile, frozen wasteland that challenges everything we think we know about our planet. Think about the driest place you have ever been, you know? Maybe a desert in the summer where the sun beats down and the air is thick with heat. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine a cold so intense that it freezes the very moisture out of the air. This is the reality of this valley. It's a cold desert, a paradox of nature. The sun shines brightly during the long polar summer, but its rays bring no warmth, no life-giving rain. Instead, the sun's energy is used in a bizarre process that turns ice directly into vapor, skipping the liquid stage entirely. Why does it never rain in the McMurdo Dry Valleys? The answer lies in a strange and powerful weather phenomenon. The valleys are surrounded by the massive Transantarctic Mountains. These towering peaks, some over 4,500 meters high, act as a giant wall. They block the flow of ice from the East Antarctic ice sheet. They block clouds coming in from the coast. The weather system is essentially locked out. Clouds form over the ocean, move inland, but can't climb the mountain barrier to deliver moisture. The valleys are trapped in a permanent rain shadow. But that's only part of the story. The real secret to the valley's dryness is the wind. Powerful, relentless winds known as katabatic winds. Describing the landscape of the McMurdo Dry Valleys is like describing a dream of another planet. There are no trees, no shrubs, no grass. The ground is a stark and beautiful canvas of rock sand salt. Patterned ground is one of the most striking features. The soil is sorted by constant freezing and thawing polygons, circles, stripes. Created over thousands of years, frozen ground expands and contracts, pushing larger stones to pattern edges. The valley floor looks organized, almost artificial. The colors are subtle but stunning. Dark volcanic dolerite, lighter colored granite sandstone. Then there are the lakes. Permanently ice-covered lakes like Lake Vanda, Lake Bonny. These aren't typical lakes. Ice can be several meters thick, yet so clear you can see through to the water. The water is often incredibly salty or stratified into layers with different temperatures and chemistries. One of the region's most bizarre features is bloodfalls. At the snout of the Taylor Glacier, a crimson brine plume seeps out, staining the glacier front a shocking red. Scientists were baffled for years. The blood is iron-rich saltwater from a subglacial lake trapped beneath the glacier for millions of years. Cut off from light and oxygen, when exposed to air, the iron oxidizes. It rusts instantly. A visceral reminder of hidden ancient worlds beneath the ice. The valleys host incredible rock formations. The relentless, dry wind is a sculptor. Over millions of years, the wind, with sand and ice particles, sandblasted the rocks into ventifacts. These rocks are carved, fluted, polished smooth. They look like abstract sculptures across the landscape. Walking among them feels like an outdoor art gallery curated by wind. The landscape is a testament to wind and cold, raw and elemental. Now, if you're enjoying this journey to one of Earth's strangest places, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend who loves science and mystery. Let me know in the comments what other bizarre places on Earth you want to explore. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to you. Now, back to the incredible life hiding in the cold. Even the streams that flow for a few short weeks during the summer have their own unique ecosystems. These streams are fed by the melting of nearby glaciers. The soil of the McMurdo Dry Valleys is more than just dirt and rock. It's a library of ancient history. Virtually no water washes things away, and very little biological activity disturbs the layers. So the soil preserves a record of past climates with incredible clarity. Scientists drill cores deep into the frozen ground, reading the record layer by layer, going back millions of years. Those layers hold trapped volcanic ash, dust, and pockets of ancient atmospheric gases. Together, they tell a detailed story of Earth's changing climate over eons. It's one of our most important planetary archives. The valleys also contain dry permafrost. At first glance, the dry valleys appear completely lifeless. The profound silence and barren landscape scream sterility. But if you look closer, much closer, you will find that life is here. It's not big, and it's not obvious, but it is incredibly resilient. Bacteria, algae, fungi, lichens. These tiny organisms have developed extraordinary strategies to survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. They are the true heroes of the dry valleys, clinging to existence where almost nothing else can. They prove that the drive to live is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. One of the most amazing forms of life here is found inside the rocks themselves. This is called a crypto-endolithic ecosystem. The McMurdo Dry Valleys are so alien that NASA uses them as a practice ground for missions to Mars. The similarities are uncanny. Cold deserts, dry deserts, rocky deserts, soil chemistry, salts and perchlorates, very similar to Mars. Thin air and intense UV, like Mars. The valleys are the world's best Mars analog. Scientists test robots, rovers, drills, life detection instruments. Engineers in heavy winter gear maneuver a prototype rover across patterned frozen ground. Testing. Navigate treacherous terrain. Testing. Drill into permafrost. Testing. Analyze soil samples on the spot. Failures here can be fixed and improved. Failures on Mars could end a mission. The dry valleys are a crucial dress rehearsal for sending rovers, and someday humans, to Mars. Despite its remoteness, the McMurdo Dry Valleys are not entirely untouched by humanity. The human story here is primarily one of science and exploration. The first explorers to see the valleys during Robert Falcon Scott's expeditions in the early 1900s were baffled. They called one the Valley of the Dead. Since the International Geophysical Year in 1957, the valleys have become a focal point for scientific research. Small, semi-permanent research camps and field huts dot the landscape. These camps allow scientists to live and work in this extreme environment for months at a time. But their presence is carefully managed to be as low impact as possible. Visiting the dry valleys is not for tourists. Access is strictly controlled under the Antarctic Treaty System. The area is designated as an Antarctic Specially Managed Area. Every person who enters must follow strict environmental protocols. You can't leave anything behind, not a crumb of food, not a drop of wastewater. Scientists have to pack out everything they bring in. That includes all human waste. This is to prevent the introduction of non-native microbes. Those microbes could contaminate the pristine environment and compromise the very research that makes the valleys so important. We have journeyed to a land of impossible cold and dryness, sculpted by wind, preserved by time. We've seen how the McMurdo Dry Valleys defy expectations, a desert of rock and silence on a continent of ice. We've uncovered secrets, katabatic winds that prevent rain, hidden life inside rocks, the bloody waterfall from a buried world. It stands in for Mars, serves as a space exploration training ground, and is a library of Earth's deepest history. It seems like we've covered it all. But there's one final, shocking truth. Once stable for millions of years, they're beginning to respond to global climate change. Scientists have observed changes once deemed unthinkable. Glaciers that feed the streams are melting faster. Streams flow longer and more vigorously. Permanently ice-covered lakes are thawing at the edges. Permafrost that was frozen for millennia is beginning to warm. The timeless landscape is losing its permanence. The ultimate paradox, the driest place on Earth is getting wetter. Increased meltwater is altering the ecosystem's balance. It's eroding ancient soils, washing away unique salt deposits, and flooding microbial mats adapted to extreme dryness. The dry valley's defining aridity is under threat. The changes are subtle now, but they are happening. The time capsule is being cracked open not by scientists, but by planetary warming. The most alien place on Earth points to a human problem. The silent valleys are sending a message, a sensitive indicator of planetary health, a canary in the global coal mine. The final thought: it's not just how strange this place is, but how connected it is to all of us. The fate of this 2-million-year-old desert rests in our hands. And if you found this story powerful, hit that subscribe button, because there are more secrets about our world to uncover together. Like, share, and drop a comment with the next mystery you want explored. In a place where it never rains, the rarest thing is change. And it has already begun. Thanks for watching.